All right, you are probably here because, like me, you've been experiencing a vibration with your 4th or 5th gen 4Runner or 2nd gen Tacoma. This issue typically shows up at low speeds, low RPMs while accelerating. After months of trying to track this down on my own, I finally threw up an SOS and someone told me to Google rumble strip transmission 4Runner. I've come to the conclusion that this is exactly what I'm experiencing. The issue is known to be the torque converter and is a result of Toyota's sealed transmissions with their lifetime fluid. The general consensus is that a transmission drain and fill will reduce or fix it entirely, and if you're feeling extra spunky, you add a tube of the Shudderfixx. Let's see if I can catch it on camera for you. So I think we managed to get it on video a couple of times. Like you can see, I mean, this is why they give it the name a rumble strip transmission issue. I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. That's exactly what it looks like from the rumbles. See, here it's doing it again. You can kind of see that. I'm on a pretty smooth road right now, just driving slightly uphill at about 30 miles an hour. And the funny thing is if you drive like a madman, then, you know, it just completely goes away. Just either put your foot in the gas or take your foot out of the gas and it's completely gone. So it was a interesting one to try to chase down. I'm definitely not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. This is the first car I've ever had that I've worked on, and so huge learning curve for me. But we'll see if this fixes it. So stay tuned.
Then bring 'em. Got the pain and I'm gonna sing 'em. Reign supreme and I mean to be the dream of this. Everybody know that I'm scared of this. Feel that? Pop, pop, pop. Make 'em drop, drop, drop. Pop, pop, pop. Make 'em drop, drop, drop. Make it feel the pain. Down and rain. We already want it here. If you want that, I'm in the room. We already want it here.
All right, so I don't want to get cocky, but it's been about 1,000 miles since I did the drain and fill on the transmission and added the Shudderfixx, and so far so good. I have not experienced it at all. I was actually pretty surprised when leaving the garage. I was kind of expecting it to do it for a little bit. Quite a few people said that for about 500 miles or so, it would still be happening kind of intermittently, maybe just not quite as bad. But for me, it was nothing. I mean, as soon as I got in the car, we hit all the usual spots everywhere where it was doing before, and I just got nothing. So I am beyond stoked. I tried chasing this down quite a bit. I replaced the fuel pump, I replaced the U-joints, I had the tires remounted and balanced, I replaced sway bar end links. I chased this thing all over the place, and really what it came down to is just like my inability to articulate what was happening. I kept calling it a stumble, and in reality it's not a stumble. It really is that rumble strip feeling. You know, on the side of the freeway, you hit that rumble strip, you get the drrrr. That's exactly what it sounds like. That's exactly what it feels like. I just didn't have the ability to call it that at the time, but now I know exactly what it is. If this is something you're experiencing, drain and fill on the transmission, that made a massive difference for me. I mean, really, it completely eliminated the problem. Now, something to remember is that just because the problem isn't presenting itself right now doesn't mean that the damage to my torque converter is just completely undone. So, you know, maybe somewhere down the line, I'm going to end up having to replace the torque converter on this. Yeah, I guess that's the, you know, part of doing business with a vehicle that has 215,000 miles on it. So, you know, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. A couple of other notes. One, you could just add the Shudderfixx if you wanted to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For me, it was just a matter of how old my transmission fluid is. It was time to change it. There's also, I've read some mixed information. People say if you don't know the service history of your transmission, or if it hasn't been serviced every 60,000 miles, and you're past 100,000 miles, that you shouldn't crack it open because it's going to cause more problems than good. For me, the risk was kind of worth the reward. I had a known transmission issue that I really just wanted to throw something at it to see if it made a difference. Now I know what the problem is, and I know what the solution to the problem would be, and eventually for me that's probably going to mean a new torque converter. So that's up to you to kind of weigh and balance that out and decide, is it worth cracking open your transmission and adding the fluid. If your transmission has been serviced regularly, you probably aren't even watching this video because you're not experiencing the problem. So turns out that lifetime fluid is not the lifetime that we try to take these Toyotas to. So just like everything else that comes across our Toyotas, if you take care of them, if you change the oil, if you change the fluids, they're going to serve you well. And in my case, it doesn't look like it was too far gone. If this is something that is helpful for you, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. I really want to start pumping out more 4th gen content. I don't think there's enough of it on YouTube, and I'd like to put some of it out there. So thanks. Let me know if this worked for you. Appreciate it. Bye.